Well, welcome everybody to another Gents Challenge. How's it going,
Another Gents
Alec?
challenge. Here we go. It's going, Zach. It's going. And I feel a little bit like we just gotta power up.
I don't.
You don't.
I don't.
You
I'm just
don't.
a regular basketball player.
Are you
Okay.
just a regular basketball player?
hmm
Well, let's see if this inspires you. Okay.
Your mic
Yeah.
just like peaked. Uh,
Go ahead. Tatsuka and show. Yeah.
I
And I
feel
hit and I
you.
slash. Yeah. I kill you. I kill you so good.
I bet. I
All
bet.
right.
I love
I don't.
Naruto.
I don't remember. I don't remember if. Yeah, I bet you do. I don't remember if Ichigo has a different voice with this on or not. I don't remember. Maybe his voice is like has like that little metallic noise to it, or like kind of like a creepy monster. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Can't remember. But anyway,
Anyway, we're here
yes.
to introduce another Gents Challenge. If you don't know what the Gents Challenge is, it's a little thing we do in our Discord community where usually you're paired up with someone and you each have a list of games and you assign each other a game to complete within the deadline. This time around, it's a little different. The theme was submitted by Josh Prep called Pray to RNJesus, which is essentially you have a list of 7 to 20 games and then you assign a number between every number between 1 and 20 to all those games. You just had to put at least one number on each game. If you had a shorter list, you could pile on a bunch of numbers on particular games you want to have more of a shot at winning. And then I randomized numbers for everybody, and everybody was assigned 2 games you can complete in whatever order you want before the deadline, which is in 2 months. And if you beat one, you're a gent. If you beat both, you're a supreme gent. If you beat neither, you're a rascal. All right.
You are a rascal, a rapscallion.
And usually we do one video in the beginning of the challenge where we basically talk about what we were assigned, how we're feeling going into it, what our odds are at being a gent, and then we come back at the end to see the results. What are my odds of being a gent?
Yeah, what are your odds, Zach? What are you what are you feeling?
I'm really confident I'm going to be a gent by the end of the challenge for sure.
Oh, that's wow. Okay, how confident are you?
100% confident. I'm already locked in.
Yeah, which is really annoying. I haven't even started my game yet.
Here are my 2 games I was assigned. I was assigned Uncharted 3 or Uncharted 1.
I was like,
on the PS3.
What?
Greatest Hits Edition.
Yeah, there it is. Uncharted: Drake's Fortune.
And Resident Evil 6. Okay.
Dang.
On the PS3.
That's crazy, dog.
And I played Uncharted, and I powered through that thing. I loved it. That's what I'm going to say. I love that game.
Yeah. I mean, apparently you did because you beat it in like a couple of days, pretty much.
I was feeling it. It's like I think this type of game isn't uncommon now, but like I've played surprisingly little of them. The ones that are like very cinematic and in presentation, and I like the parkour and like jumping on the ledges stuff. I've played surprisingly few of them, and even in terms of like the big Sony AAA games, I haven't played like really any of those. So like
your God of War, your Last Office, that type of thing. Yeah.
And then Uncharted, I'd never played any of the games despite hearing so much about it. And if it weren't for this, I probably never would have gotten around to it. It's one of those things where it's like, hear about it so much, so it almost loses its effect. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
But the way I made my list was that I did a random, I did the fortune cookie feature on Backloggery, which gives you a random game out of my collection. And I did that for all 20 of my games, so they're all random. And you did the same, right?
I did the same thing. I will say I changed some of them because they're for games that I don't even really have access to, or I think there was one that there was a couple that I picked before that I realized I could kind of like, you could kind of like pick and choose like the categories for the fortune cookie. So I kind of just picked the consoles that I knew I wanted to hammer more. So I did kind of like a refined version of that.
Yeah.
So my 20 were all still picked through the fortune cookie though. A lot of RPGs on my particular list, which I was like, okay, I'm gonna get an RPG in here. I'm sure of it.
I skipped.
And
The only ones I skipped were really short ones, or like I got one N64 game that I wasn't 100% confident if it works or not. And then and if there were any sequels, I just did the first of them that I had unfinished.
Yeah, I did the same for the sequels thing, and then also mine. I got like Banjo-Kazooie was like on there, and I was like, I don't even have access to an N64 right now, so I can't play that. Which I do because I have that on. Which, if you are familiar with a lot of my old content, which was basically just not much at all, it was just kind of Christmas Secret Santa unboxings. That's more or less all I did. I got that one year. Someone gave me Banjo-Kazooie. I think it was Comeback Kid. Gave me Banjo-Kazooie and Tooie, which is very, very cool.
But yeah, so what I was saying is that they gave me Uncharted by a random chance, and so I probably never would have gotten around to it otherwise. I'm grateful now because I'm excited to play the other ones, especially since like I've heard later ones in the series. I've heard much more from those as well. So, and I already loved the first one, even though there were some annoying parts to it. Yeah. For sure.
I've heard the first one is a little jank, from what I understand, a little bit more.
There were a couple of parts I was convinced like you can't. I already tried this jump like 3 times. You can't make this jump. So where else do I have to go? But then like the 6th time, if you jump at the last possible pixel, barely make it. I'm like, oh wow, okay. And some other wonky stuff too. But overall, it was a pretty painless experience. Actually fairly challenging, freaking ragdolling all over the place. Like some missions you'll just start and just immediately lit up, but I liked it. It was like a satisfying challenge, I think.
Wow. Well, there you go. It's very rare for us to start a video and you've already beaten the game. One of the games.
So I mean, the other one is Resident Evil 6. I don't know if I will get to that one or not, but I mean, I have a lot of time.
It's also the right time of year for it too. Spooky season.
Yeah, I thought about it.
Even though Resident Evil 6 isn't really like all that scary, it's the series though. I would be interested in your thoughts about that one. Everyone really hates that game. Like, pretty much, it sold really well, so there clearly had to have been some people that liked it. I actually really liked it. I don't think it's like that amazing of a game, but I think it's very overlooked and underrated. I think it's a lot better game than people give it credit for. But
it's funny because I haven't played any Resident Evil game, so I mean, I said the thing about the sequels, but for that one, I was like, well, I don't think it matters that much. So it
kind of does for that. That one is sort of like, that one is kind of like all the stories are culminating. Like that one kind of does sort of matter a little bit. Maybe play another Resident Evil. They're not very long games, so you can maybe play another one in there. Anyways, the games I get assigned from the RNG were Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey Redux on the Nintendo 3DS. I have, despite the fact that I really like this series, I've actually played very little games in it. This one's even more different because I think it's like a first-person dungeon crawler as opposed to like another kind of RPG style. So yeah, I don't know. I'm very interested in this. This is another, like you said, I don't know when I would have gotten around to this game had it not been for this. So I'm looking forward to playing this first. Just because I've kind of been jonesing for an RPG to sink my teeth into, and what better than that? Other game I got assigned was Project Cross Zone on the 3DS. I played this is a strategy game that is a combination of characters from Namco, Capcom, and Sega. I played a demo of this back when I first got my 3DS, because I think there was a demo that had just come out right when I got my 3DS. And I remember really liking the demo. I'm not really a very big strategy game person, but I've always been kind of interested in playing this just because I like I think the crossover kind of aspect is a fun gimmick, particularly when you've got like the fighting games representative of the 3 companies. So you have we have Ryu from Street Fighter, then we have Jin from Tekken, and I think that's Soul Bad Guy from. No, what's Sega's? Oh, Virtua Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was almost saying that's a that's not a yeah, Soul Bad Guys from Guilty Gear, which is not Sega. That's development studio. I can't remember, but anyway, no, that's so that's
Akira.
that's Akira from Virtua Fighter. But yeah, then like Mega Man and Zero, and then like what's her name from Space Channel 5, Yuri Lowell from Tales of Vesperia is also in it.
Yeah.
The Dot Hack girl, I can't remember her name either. She's in it. Dante, Jill Valentine from Devil May Cry. So it's definitely like there's a lot to love here. I don't know how many characters there are. Plays over 50 of your favorites. So all right. Well, I think Sonic is in here too.
Sonic?
He better be. He freaking better be. That's all I have to say. I think Sonic's got to be in here, right?
You'd think he'd be on the front then if he was.
You think? Well, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe he's secret. Maybe he's not in there. Maybe.
Yeah, I never played that either. I still have it too.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm looking forward to that. We'll see if I can get to it. Both of these are fairly long games. Surprisingly enough, despite the fact that this is, they are both RPGs. This is a strategy RPG. Shin Megami Tensei has the history of the tendency of the series to be very long. This game's actually longer by about 20 hours, I think. This is like a 70-hour game. This is about 40 to 50. So
yeah.
I'm probably not going to beat both of them. Yeah. So I will give my best. I will do my best to beat that. I'm going to try to put some serious time into that. So I have been. It's been nice because I have been playing my 3DS again a little bit more. What a phenomenal console. Mm-hmm. So nice excuse to really. I was actually getting like very like sort of almost sad because I was like going back through when I was on vacation. I was going back through like some like old games and stuff and looking at my my Mi Plaza. Mm-hmm. My Street Pass Mi Plaza. I was like, man, there's so many good memories of this time in Nintendo's history. It was kind of a weird time for Nintendo, but like, there's a lot of like stuff that they did that was really good about that era. The 3DS, Wii U era, weird time for Nintendo, but something really charming and wonderful about it still, despite the fact that they were not doing very well in the sales department. So.
Right. I mean, I liked kind of as I was doing this fortune cookie. I was like, I mean, I wish I could do this every time actually, because I'm thinking whenever I put a list together, it's like if I'm restricting myself, if I'm not having a huge list, then it's essentially going to end up being PlayStation 4 and Switch games, or like because I already have plenty on those two systems alone to cover a whole list, and then so the rest of my systems are kind of neglected. So. I like this. Gives me get some PS3 games in here. I barely ever played the PS3, so. Yeah.
That's why I had hoped some of our other past guests on one of this had joined, but unfortunately they did not. So bummer.
And I do like this challenge. I previously in another time I had submitted a theme for just a completely random challenge. This one was nice, or you at least had some choice if you wanted to put more emphasis on certain games you could have.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So my friend Wesley was thinking about joining, but he ultimately decided not to. But this was his favorite theme though, by far. He was like, this theme is awesome. And he just runs into a problem where he just doesn't have enough games just in general to play. Like when he buys a game, he's pretty good at just playing them for the most part. That being said, I think he like got a PS4 and like tons of games that he's never played because he's not a big couch. He's a PC game sort of guy. So he's got like a PS4 with like games he's never played. So
yeah,
that would have been a good excuse.
So anyway. Like usually most of the themes I can't really do all random if I'm going by the theme. So I probably don't get to do it often, but I'd like to do it more because then I get like some of these older games. I've tons of GameCube games, tons of 360 games, DS, 3DS, all of these still have unfinished. So
I got a lot of Wii games, a lot of. I mean, I had a lot of modern Switch games
Yeah.
that I really need to get through. But 3DS and DS, I had a lot of that. So 360 as well. I had a few 360 games, several 360 games on there. Well, actually, yeah. Let's just like quickly, let me just run down my list real quick.
Oh, yeah, let's. I'd also be interested. Yeah, if you run down your lists, and then just say which ones would have like would have been your top 2 picks if you got to pick out of yours.
Yeah, my top picks. Let's see.
Well, what do you have first?
Okay, so I got Doom,
Yours.
Undertale, Zone of the Enders HD, Assassin's Creed, Bayonetta, Shin Megami Tensei Training Journey Redux, Persona 4 Golden, Dragon Quest Heroes, which is the PS4 game. That was like the Muso Dragon Quest game. No More Heroes. I also had Uncharted Drake's Fortune on mine. Mega Man Zero 2, Project Cross Zone, Blue Dragon, Castlevania, Order of Ecclesia, Lego Harry Potter, Epic Mickey, Fire Emblem Warriors, Retro City Rampage, Hotel Dusk, Room 215, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
So if you were to have your way and pick your 2, what would it be?
I think I would have probably had Hotel Dusk. And a lot of these other games that I've like started, like I've started Bayonetta, I've just never finished it. I'd like to get back to that at some point. Undertale is like a game that I've been meaning to play for just so freaking long. I think honestly though, my number 2 probably would have been either Blue Dragon or No More Heroes.
Yeah.
Again, I'm kind of in the mood for an RPG. No More Heroes isn't really an RPG. I've still never played the No More Heroes games, which is crazy to me.
Same.
Because I like Suda 51 a lot. So, but Blue Dragon is like, I really want to try that game at some point. It's
yeah. It's one of those cool JRPGs.
Yeah, Mistwalker's first RPG. Hinorobu Sakaguchi's first RPG project after leaving Square Enix. Lost Odyssey is a lost masterpiece people don't talk about enough, and so Blue Dragon's one that had a lot more of a marketing push. There were multiple games that came out, but there was that, and then there was a DS game as well, or a couple DS games, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've just never gotten around to playing it, so
Mine was such a weird assortment of games. I have Sonic Colors Ultimate, Trials of Mana, Super Mario RPG, Mega Man X, Call of Duty Black Ops, Shrek, Sonic Lost World, The Outer Worlds, Donkey Kong Barrel Blast, Panzer Dragoon Orta, Nicktoons Unite, Sonic Unleashed, Kelly Slater's Pro Surfer, Uncharted Drake's Fortune, Max Payne, Tales of Symphonia, Batman Arkham Asylum, Need for Speed Underground, Resident Evil 6, and The Warriors.
Warriors! Oh, I've heard really good stuff about that game. That's the PS2 game, right? Yeah.
So it's such a random assortment. I was like, "Oh, these are
fun,
fun games."
There's a few Sonic games on there. I noticed that's fun.
3 Sonic games.
Yeah, 3 Sonic games. There's another thing. There's another game in there that was kind of like, Donkey Kong. Isn't Barrel Blast? Isn't that the Wii game?
Yeah.
That game looks really bad. I've seen that game. Ooh.
Yeah. So if I were to pick 2, I probably would have put The Outer Worlds, because that was going to be on my list anyway, and it keeps coming up because I know it's pretty short, and also like I've been looking forward to playing that. And the other one.
I watched my housemate play through that last year. Very fun game. Very fun. I'd like to play that at some point. I'd like to own it at some point. So. And
then I don't know, maybe Super Mario RPG. I've played a lot. I just never finished. So maybe I would do that just to have it finished. But again, I wouldn't have minded a lot of these. And ironically, Uncharted and Resident Evil 6 were 2 of my least interested ones out of that list. But Uncharted, I don't know, surprised me, but I was
cool.
I'm all here for it. So have you never played an Uncharted game either?
I haven't either. No, that's not true. I played part of the first one, part of Drake's Fortune, when I was visiting my ex one time, like 5 or 6 years ago. She had been playing it, and then and then I like took a turn for like a little bit, and then we stopped playing it. So, that's it though. That's all I've touched of the Uncharted games. Been interested in them though. Very cool.
Yeah, because everybody for the longest time talked about Uncharted 2, so
Yeah.
I've already loved the first one, so I'm sure I'll love that one.
Yeah, Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 4 seem to be the fan favorites of that series. So.
Any other interesting ones worth mentioning from other people's? I mean, so Boss Chaz, I still don't know how to pronounce his name.
Boss Chaz, I think that's right. He beat his in the first day practically.
Instantly, Zach and Wiki. So I was the second one in there though. I'm never that early.
Yeah.
I just have a lot of free time on my hands right now. That's the only reason.
I just wanted to see who all got chosen. Who got chosen?
Thanos, actually, if you're pronouncing it correctly.
Wow.
He got the two games that he freaking piled on numbers on.
Yeah.
So the two most likely. I was kind of hoping with the people that piled on all these numbers that it would just happen to pick the other one out of there. Yeah. But he got.
I do like Krillin Ball Z. Got Final Fantasy VII. Happy about that. So yeah, your brother's gonna be playing that.
Yeah. So Final Fantasy VII was the one he put more numbers on because he actually had been making progress from the last challenge.
Oh, okay.
So he was already partway through it. And then Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games.
That's kind of wild. That's a wild one.
I think that was the one. I think that was the one he was least interested in. But
yeah, how do you even beat that? Like, is there a story mode?
There's a story mode. I think.
Okay.
It was pretty short, but not as short as you'd actually think for Mario and Sonic. But it's still probably like the easiest. He'll probably get Supreme Gem for sure.
I'm interested. There's multiple people that got Disco Elysium. And I've heard that's people state.
I've heard that's the 9th best game of all time.
One of the according to the list that we went through. But I've heard aside from that wild list, people have said it's like one of the greatest games ever made, like bar none. So I genuinely interested in people's take on it. I mean, I want to play it at some point. People talking that highly about it. So
yeah, I mean, there's some good games in here though.
Oh, for sure.
All right, so I'm a gent. I don't know about Supreme. The only reason I have doubts for Supreme is that we are playing another game that we're going to review, so I'm probably going to prioritize that now.
Yeah.
Whereas I would otherwise just gone probably into Resident Evil, and I'm also playing Fire Emblem Three Houses. I'm just randomly playing that also now.
Oh, okay, cool.
So
also, I will say Resident Evil 6 is surprisingly long. I will warn you about that. That is because there are 3 full campaigns and then a 4th shorter one. And I would say that the 3 main ones, each one in particular, I would even say could have arguably been maybe just under the length of its own game. They are pretty long. Yeah. So I would say you'd probably play anywhere between 6 to 10 hours for each one. So it's a decently long game. If
I really wanted to put my mind to it, I could for sure power through it.
We gotta prioritize our other game for right now, which is understandable. But yeah, that's fun. Come back 2 months. We'll have our wrap up video to talk about it.
So we do. I'm already sitting pretty though. I don't even.
He's already sitting pretty, so doesn't have to worry too much about it. But we'll see if you've made progress elsewhere. We'll see what happens to me. If I can come back and make it happen.
Yeah, I could. It would be nice to get Supreme because I'm behind. If you look at the overall Gents leaderboard, I'm behind. You're ahead of me on that, so that could help me. But
so yeah, I'll have to see.
Yeah, so if you want to participate,
I'm not going to be Supreme. I'll tell you that. I can't. There's no way. If
you want to participate in the next challenge, though, feel free to join the Discord. The link in the description. And,
please do.
Yeah, feel free. I mean, it's like it's not a huge commitment. It's like you have a 2-month deadline to finish 1 or 2 games. Worst case scenario, you're a rascal. It's not like the end of the world. So,
and it's just a fun way to sort of, get through your backlog of games because everybody's got them. Everybody's got one. So many.
I'm definitely grateful to the Gents Challenge. It always exposes me to new games or games I never would have finished otherwise. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Chrono Trigger, Wind Waker. It's Uncharted. You know, there's more than that. So these are all.
Wait a minute? Did you play Chrono Trigger in one of the times that we've been talking about it? Because I don't remember that.
I don't think so. No.
Yeah. Did you beat it for a Gents challenge?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Such a wonderful game. I love it.
Yeah, and I always liked Wind Waker, but the challenge got me to beat that.
That's good. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember that was you were literally like within an hour, I think, of it like ending is when you beat it. I remember that. I remember it coming down to the wire.
No, with that one, Metroid Prime.
Oh, Metroid Prime was the down to the hour. That's right. Yeah, down to the hour on that one. Yeah,
I forgot about
that was kind of amazing. That's a great. Yeah, that's another one of my favorite games right there too.
I had to put blood and sweat and tears into that just to get it done.
All right.
It would be interesting to do like a retrospective, like how many challenges have we done at this point? Do like a freaking however many anniversary of Gents challenge and just look back on all the games we've finished as a result.
Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for watching.
Yeah.
And if you enjoyed this video, why not go check out our review of 12 minutes.
Yeah, go check it out. I was like, where's this going? That was an interesting game. I think about that game every once in a while.
I think about that a lot.
I see it on my... I don't think about it a lot, but I think about it sometimes. What a weird game.
That's the only thing I've played on my Xbox One.
Really? Really?
Yeah. So I'm telling you, I just neglect some systems. I literally hadn't touched this PS3. My PS4 and Switch are like the two systems I've really played consistently. Xbox One, I have a couple games on there. Haven't played anything since.
Do you want to know something really bad?
No.
My Xbox Series X is still in its box. I haven't taken it out yet. Except to look at it. I took it out to look at it, and then I put it back in because I was like, all right, I'll set this up in my room, and then I just haven't done that yet. My room's a nightmare.
Aren't you excited to play? There's so many great Series X games.
Yeah, like Halo Infinite. Anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel.
Yes.
Click that little bell to get notified of when we put out new videos. Leave a comment. Tell us what we're doing wrong. Tell us what we're doing right.
Like the video.
Just like the video. Do that. Do all the things that every YouTuber always tells you to do.
And go in the description for our social media too. Okay.
Yeah, you can find us on Tarqaron. TWO. Yes, that's our Twitter.
There's a Twitter and Instagram.
We have Instagram as well. So yeah.
All right.
All right.